Hey, what's going on, folks? It's the Cassius Morris Show. Thanks for tuning in. Back for another episode. This actually isn't a typical episode. This is the first uh, crossover slash swapcast podcast that I've actually done in quite a long time. It's been a couple years since I've done one of these, but I'm happy to do it, and especially happy to do it with my friend Freddy Correa over at the Thanks for the Invite podcast. We linked up when I was over in Las Vegas, as I talked about on my Las Vegas Recap podcast, which is available on the Cassius Morris Show iTunes and YouTube page if you haven't checked it out yet. We met up at a restaurant with some great local food, which you're going to hear us talk plenty about in the interview you're about to hear. And we just hung out on the patio, on the deck, with myself, my father, Freddie's wife, and Freddie, and everybody gets introduced fully. And it was just a great experience. It was so much fun. And, podcasting on Las Vegas Boulevard outdoors at night was certainly a one-of-a-kind experience. We got interrupted a couple times by some people throwing bottles, which you're going to hear, breaking glass in the middle of the road, some crazy people. It's still Vegas, man, but it was all good. I had a great time with Freddie. I had a great time doing this, and just really fortunate that I was able to not only do this interview, but also go check out the LA Comedy Club, because the conversation you're about to hear, the combination of that and visiting the LA Comedy Club, which is in Las Vegas at the Stratosphere Hotel. It's just called the LA Comedy Club. I went down there twice, and, those two experiences for some reason just really triggered something in me. And while I was in Vegas, I had never done stand-up yet. I hadn't done it at all. And I'd always wanted to since the age of 16, when I just turned 16. And, I just turned 21. And that was the purpose of my trip to Las Vegas. So, being around all this comedy stuff and talking about comedy so much in the same way that I did, it reminded me of being 16, 17, 18, 19, wanting to do stand-up comedy. And I was just thinking, why have I never done it? Like, if it's something that you really want to do, I was thinking, why haven't I done it? So I decided that I was going to take a chance, and I said, right when I get back, I want to do it. And pardon my voice, by the way. I caught a cold from the air travel. It's been like 2 weeks. I still have it. But I'm still going strong. So I just jumped on stage when I got back home. Because just, like I say, the combination of going to these comedy clubs and seeing... I think it was mostly seeing what the stand-up scene really can be like in the U.S., and just how successful you can be, even if you choose to focus on one city. If you just dedicate yourself to your craft, there's so much that you can do, and you can take it so far and take it to so many places that it's something that I love. It's something that I enjoy. It's something I celebrate. And so this conversation was really one of the main things that convinced me to try stand-up comedy for the first time. And I did this. This was this past Wednesday. It's Sunday now. And I did it at this venue called the Grindstone Theater. And the Grindstone Theater, it essentially is a bar that has a door to a theater. And the stand-up, however, is performed in the bar venue, not the theater venue. But nonetheless, it's really cool. It's a good venue. And I went up there, and as we talked about in this conversation, Freddie said that it's really best to just show up unannounced as a stranger, not make a big announcement out of it, whatever, and just do your comedy. Not invite friends, not invite family. And I had a lot of people ask to come to this. And I also have a lot of people now asking me for the video, which I do have. But I didn't have anyone come, and I didn't release the video because of this conversation that you're about to hear. And as a matter of fact, when I showed up to do this stand-up, a lot of people know me in the stand-up scene. I didn't announce it. There was a couple comics that knew me, and we talked, and I told them it was my first spot. But other than that, nobody else in the venue knew, including the host of the show. And I was number 14 out of 20 on this open mic. And I wasn't even introduced as a new comic. I was simply introduced as, ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian is Cassius Morris. That's it. So I went up there, and the reason I did that, as you're going to hear, is because I wanted an honest read as to how funny my jokes actually were to an audience who wasn't pandering to me. I don't want people pandering to a new comic. I don't want people pandering to somebody who they enjoy their podcast, or that they're friends with, or that their family member, that's their family member on stage. I want people in the audience to look at me in the face and tell me how funny my jokes are. And this is a unique venue because since it's like a bar type venue and it's not in the theater, there isn't a spotlight at this one. So it's essentially like you're just standing up at the bar and you have a microphone and everybody's looking at you. You have that eye contact with everybody. And for somebody who hasn't performed on stage, if you don't know, when you're on a stage that obviously has spotlights, you can't see the crowd. So this is very different. You're looking everybody right in the face. And I just said, fuck it. I'm going to get up there, own it, and find out if my jokes are funny. And I immediately enjoyed stand-up. Part of the reason why I did is because it was immediately unpredictable once I stepped off that stage. And as is podcasting. And that's one of the reasons why podcasting has me hooked, is because whenever I do an interview, be it in-person interviews where you go to meet an artist backstage, the backstage environment is never how you think it's going to be. It always ends up different. It's unexpected. A Skype conversation, a FaceTime video conversation, it always ends up different than you predict because it's just things unfold in a natural way. And when you achieve that, things just happen spontaneously. And when I got on stage to perform these jokes, the joke that I thought was going to be the strongest, I would say performed the weakest out of my entire 4.5 minute set. I did 4.5 minutes roughly out of 5 minutes. The joke that I thought was going to be the weakest was the strongest joke in my set. And I shared the video with a couple close friends of mine, and they told me that that is the best joke in the set. So honestly, it pretty much got me hooked right away because I like that it's unpredictable like that. And that gives me the interest and the drive to get back on stage and experiment with it, having known that information. Because obviously, you're not figuring it out at home. I'm not sharing jokes with people at home or my friends over the phone because they can't tell me how that crowd's going to feel on that given night. The only way you're going to find out is when you show up and check it out. So I'm going to keep doing stand-up. It's Sunday. My next show is this coming Wednesday. I'm going to go back to that same open mic, and I'm going to check it out again. And I'm going to do that crowd, and I'm going to look them right in their face and say some new material. And I plan to keep doing it at different venues after that. And I'm also saving money to travel more. That is my goal. That's why I'm doing 1 or 2 spots right now just to get started. I want to be polished, but at the same time, you got to have the time to practice, right? So I'm just working on that. And I'm so sorry about my voice right now. It is not like this during the interview, which you're about to hear, which I'm going to get into. So I'm going to sign off and hopefully get rid of this chest virus that has gotten to me between working and doing stand-up and doing the podcast and practicing music, vocals. It's been very difficult to maintain my voice. But I don't want to hear anybody ever talk about an excuse when it comes to stand-up about not being able to do it because they're sick, because I did my first set while I was sick. And I'm going to do many more. So, toughen up, motherfuckers. Anyway, here's my swap cast with Freddy Correa. Hope you enjoy. We're live.
We're live. We'll do it live.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll do it live. Live on 2 podcasts.
Yeah.
This is crazy right now, man.
We're on 2 podcasts, and who knows? Maybe Lizzie will put us on her Instagram. I don't know. We got Lizzie Correa. Say what's up.
Oh, hello. Oh, hi.
Hey.
You made me go on.
I just forced you to jump on her.
Yay.
Surprise cameo. And then to my right, we got my father, Andrew Morris. What's going on?
How you doing, everybody?
And where are we at, Freddie?
We're at Viva Las Arepas.
Ooh.
It's a Venezuelan food joint, right outside of the strip. Well, it's on Las Vegas Boulevard, but this is considered not really the strip anymore.
Right.
This is the spot where you start going into the wedding chapels. Remember all those famous wedding chapels where Elvis could marry you and all that?
Yeah, the movies and all that.
Exactly. They're like, this is it right here. And, yeah, this is where we're at. Brought you guys to eat here. I want to give you guys a little taste of a Latin joint.
Yeah.
And Venezuelan, man. You know what? Venezuelan food is really good.
It is. This was my first time trying it. I had the empanadas. Is that like a beginner? I feel like that's a good beginner.
You did great. That was a great choice.
Yeah.
Me and your dad did the pabellon plate. How'd you like that one, Drew?
Oh, that was awesome. Really, I recommend it.
Yeah.
He did it right because he has a sample. He has like a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
Right.
it's shredded beef. It's marinated. You got the rice. You got the beans, the fried plantain, and then you throw the egg, the fried egg on it. Yeah, and it's great. It was so good.
I've seen a lot of stuff out here with fried egg. They like to sort of spice it up a little bit, put a little flair to it.
Yeah, dude. You know what I noticed? Japanese people love fried eggs too. There's this Japanese place called Fuku Burger, and they throw an egg on all their burgers.
Damn.
It's amazing. Yeah.
That's a good style.
Yeah.
So you're from Reno originally, right?
Yeah.
Nevada?
Yeah.
What's the food scene like out there?
You know, Reno is. I don't want to sound like I'm just
Don't
shitting
talk
on my.
down on
I know. I'm just shitting on my.
I'm looking at the looks back and forth here.
Well, she was born and raised there.
Okay.
I was just raised there, but you know, not.
It's been popping. It's growing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess so.
It doesn't have like a name to it, but I mean, it's
Right.
growing.
Here's the thing: we moved out here in 2012, and before that, as far as Latin food, the only Latin food I ever ate was Cuban food if my dad cooked it. But I never went to a Cuban restaurant until I moved to Vegas because there's so many Cubans here. And I've never had anything other than Mexican food and Salvadoran food, which is where she's from. Well, her parents.
Woo, woo.
Shout out.
So like pupusas, they're like these
Salvatrucha.
pupusas. Salvatrucha is what you call Salvadorans. It's like a nickname.
Thank you.
But pupusas, it's kind of like an arepa, except it's not cut open. It's all stuffed. It's like stuffed with other stuff. It's all like they're Latins are just hacks. They just fucking copy each other, and they just call it something else. It's like a gordita, you know?
Yeah, open a good spot, change the name. At least they have the recipe down, though.
Oh yeah, it's still amazing. It tastes so good. But that's all I knew as far as Latin food. As far as Asian food, Chinese and Vietnamese.
Right.
It wasn't until we moved here where I started trying other stuff. You know, Taiwanese, Thailand. You know, what's the Mongolian?
Korean.
Right.
Oh, Korean. That's a big one right
Barbecue and all that?
there. Korean barbecue. Yeah.
I've had it at a food court. I feel like a hack. I'm like, I can't even say I've had Korean barbecue at a food court. Freaking ridiculous.
You notice how excited I am talking about food? It's like
I know. We're foodies.
I just got done eating, and I'm just like all passionate about it. Like,
We're about to go back in here.
yeah.
So when you come like to a place like Las Vegas, were you guys familiar with the spot, or like did you have to go out on foot and like find all the good spots, find bad spots, and go through them?
We were familiar, but it was because we would come visit probably like twice a year.
Okay.
The first time we came, Lizzie and I, we came in 2005 when we first got married.
Okay.
We stayed at the Stratosphere.
Oh, right there. Nice.
Yeah, same place where you guys went to see the comedy club.
That's right.
And this is all way before I did comedy. So I never imagined I was going to be a comedian or anything.
Really?
And then work at the Stratosphere. But
Right.
that was the first time we stayed there. After that, years passed, and we would come with friends to visit, and we would stay at Excalibur or Luxor, and we would party out here a lot. So we would come out here because we were raised like very hardcore Christians. Her dad's the pastor of the church where we grew up in, so we were very sheltered from partying and all that. So we were late bloomers in the sense where we didn't party till like our late 20s.
Right. Okay.
So weird.
So you took your time to figure that part out.
I guess so. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But that was kind of like, so I guess that, to answer the question, that's kind of like how we got familiarized. We would come out here so much.
That's so cool. So at what point did the comedy come in?
Comedy.
2005, you came out here.
No, we came out. Well, yeah.
To visit.
To visit. Comedy didn't happen until 2011.
So what happened there?
I think YouTube, the internet, helped a lot. I never knew I wanted to be a comedian, but it was more like I always had that I was always an attention whore, you know, like
right.
I wanted to have the attention. I wanted
look
to make,
at me, you know.
Look at me, I'm making people. I would try to make people laugh, or there was a point in my life where I would like imitate Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
When I was a young teenager, and I would like dance like him. And
really?
My mom put me in talent competitions.
He's embarrassed of these videos and these photos, and I'm like so proud. I'm like, I never did that. I would be like the quiet little shy one in the corner.
Yeah.
You were dancing out stage, doing all these nice little twirls.
I was grabbing my crotch on stage.
You were just a big fan?
Yeah, I was a huge fan since I was a kid.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Me and my pops were just talking about this the other day because we saw a bunch of them, and I was saying, like, first of all, what does it take to be, like, in one of the shows? Like, imagine the audition room, just a bunch of mics just sitting there.
Yeah.
But, like, so you got in the talent shows for it.
Yeah, my mom would, at one point, she would force me to do it. And I was so embarrassed because I was already about to turn, you know, I think the last time I did it was I was 14. Okay. And I'm like,
he's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
it's like, it's like when I think of it, like when I met you online, you were 14 interviewing Joe Rogan.
Yeah, seriously.
Adam Carolla. I'm on stage trying to act like Michael Jackson, you know, with the hat. You know, I'm like, I don't think I should be doing this. I don't want my friends at school would make fun of me. Like, not in a bad way, but they would try to put me on the spot and say, do the moves, you know, and it was just embarrassing. It was so embarrassing.
I can kind of relate. I was the Kiss kid in school.
Oh, yeah.
I always loved, like, I still love Kiss.
Yeah,
you know, but, like, it got to the point where, like, random people would come up to me and be like, you're obsessed with Kiss, right? And I'd be like, yeah, but who are you? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But word just spread. So I guess people would probably assume if you came to Vegas that you'd end up being a mic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that didn't happen.
Let me ask you this. How was it when you interviewed... and I know you're a Kiss fan, so I'm sorry. So I apologize in advance. What's his name? Richard?
From Kiss?
Yeah, the main singer?
I got Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
How was it? He got to interview him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I saw the video. How was that? You got to interview one of your heroes right there.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. Like, being honest, that was a conversation I'd rehearsed in my head for about 10 years.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where I was ready. You know, I stood around there for 6 hours waiting for the interview for Gene, and I was just replaying I said, I need 5 questions that I can immediately grab.
There you go.
That's what I said. I need 5 questions I can immediately grab and just ask them.
Yeah.
And I just rehearsed those questions, man, and I went to talk to him, and it was eye-opening.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys where when you're around him, you're in Gene's world. You're just a part of a little universe that's going on, and the second he leaves, everything goes back to normal.
Yeah.
But I was standing there with him, and about where you are, where the window is behind us here, about a couple feet, there was about 5 or 6 security guards, all in black, staring at me, intimidating. And yeah, it was incredible. 18.
Dang.
18, 19. Yeah. And the only thing I regret is wearing a fake chain on video there. Other than that, everything was perfect.
It was a fashion mistake.
Gene was like, I can afford 20 real ones of that, but I'm still going to give this kid some time. So I appreciated that. But yeah, it was funny. He pulled out his cell phone and he actually fired or almost fired one of his employees right in front of me.
Whoa.
Yeah. So because
why?
Well, I got in a conversation with him. I was like, because he had this box set that came out, and people kept saying it was a $5,000 box set.
Yeah.
So I asked him, what's up with this box set? He goes, actually, that's not true. You better get your facts straight. I said, with all due respect, my facts are straight. As a matter of fact, let me pull it up right now. He goes, okay, show me your phone. Pull it up. I pulled it up. He goes, is this new? I said, yeah, it's new. He goes, my guys are asleep at the wheel. He goes, hold on. Pulls out his phone, Kiss case, of course. Yeah. And he dictates an email to Siri. You fucking idiots. Why did you mess up my website, you fucks? Like, he's just cussing. He's going crazy. I was like, damn. But, you know, I guess to answer, to be in the presence of someone who's that big of a powerhouse for real, who employs, like, hundreds of people, it's just an energy that can't be recreated.
Yeah.
You know, it's just...
Yeah, it's crazy. And so how long did that interaction last then?
That interview was about 8-9 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've met him on 2 other occasions. One time, very briefly, we took a family photo.
Yeah.
And then the other time, he signed my stuff in Toronto. Like,
Yeah.
I flew out for them. I've done a ton of shit for Kiss, man. And now it's not as much. You know what I mean? Especially because they're ending.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Again?
Again, yeah. The last time was in 99.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Motley Crue, too. Yesterday, they just announced that they're coming back and reuniting. And I don't know if you saw it, but when they announced their farewell, they signed contracts to say they legally cannot regroup. And they were bragging about it all over the place. We'll be breaking the law if we regroup, blah, blah, blah. And then yesterday they announced a reunion.
Oh, wow.
And not only did they do one farewell concert in Edmonton,
Mm-hmm.
they came back the next year and did another one of the same tour.
Yeah.
So it's like, make up your minds, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of these guys are crazy.
They just keep coming back.
Yeah, man.
Cher did
Cher.
that. Yeah.
Out here, I can imagine.
Yeah.
She fucks around out here.
Have you been to the Kiss golf thing here at the Rio?
No, not
Dude.
yet. I want to see that.
Oh my gosh,
You're going
I'm
to go
surprised.
do a show with, what's his name?
Pretty Boy.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm probably
at
going to
the Rio.
go to there. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Check it out, man.
Kiss Golf.
It's such a good spot. And,
That's so
and
cool.
it's indoors. Everything's neon. Black lights.
The music.
The
going
music.
On, of course.
Nice.
All Kiss music. Yeah, it's really cool, dude.
I love that.
Yeah, I went there for a work event with my job, and we just did like an employee like appreciation thing there, and it was really cool, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how about you with the podcast? Who was the one interview that you saw or that you did and you were like, this is cool, you know, like this is nuts?
Like a game changer type of thing.
Yeah, like just one that really, I guess, made an impression on you. Because I think every podcaster has one that they really carry with them, you know?
Yeah, I think when I interviewed Michael Wheels Parisi, he's Andrew Dice Clay's best friend.
Oh, cool.
And opener, and he's been doing comedy for like over 30 years, you know.
Wow.
So he lives out here in Vegas. When I first moved to Vegas, I met him, and I had him on the podcast, and the advice that he gave on that podcast was so motivational. Like it's the way he speaks. He's very positive. And I'll be honest, like I've had a lot of people on the podcast where it's great to conversate. It's fun.
Yeah.
I have a blast, but that really impacted me because after I had him on the podcast a Saturday, and I think we had been out here in Vegas for about a little over a year,
Okay.
and I had done maybe 1 or 2 guest spots at LA Comedy Club.
Right.
I'm only 2 years deep into comedy, and
Right now?
no,
At that point.
At that point,
Okay, gotcha, yeah.
but after I interviewed Wheels, I went out there like, fuck this crowd. I'm gonna fuck them up.
Right.
You know, like I'm. This is gonna be my show this time. Like, and I had such a great set that the owner of LA Comedy Club, Matt, asked me to be a regular host at their other club at Planet Hollywood called Las Vegas Live,
Okay.
which is where Edwin San Juan is now.
And that's still there.
That's still
Okay.
there.
I didn't see that when I was up there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so I became the regular host there, and that helped me develop because now I had a regular spot on a Friday every week.
Wow.
And that really helped me a lot develop. So I think having Wheels on the podcast, I've been thinking of asking him again, see if he could do it again, but it was great.
Wow.
Because this is a Comedy Store regular guy, a guy he started doing comedy back in the 80s in Pips Comedy Club up in New York. He became friends with Dice, and he became Andrew Dice Clay's opener ever since that. So
That's
I don't know if
crazy.
you ever hear Dice. Every time he's on Joe Rogan's, he always brings up Wheels.
Right.
And Wheels is a character. I'll be honest, he's a character. Like, there's this story that not Andrew Dice Clay said, but when him and Eleanor Kerrigan were on Joe Rogan's told a story that Wheels lied to him and said that he was a professional pool player,
Oh, really?
and he was great at it. And he's like, so we started betting one night, and till this day, Will still owes me $20 because I destroyed him. He's like, I destroyed him. He was a liar. He was trying to act like he was going to beat me. He ends up beating him. And he's like, till this day, he still owes me $20. And I told Wheels the story. I said, I heard this story on Joe Rogan. He's like, why do you think I never paid him back? I'm like, why? He's like, because if I pay him back, he'll stop talking about it.
Yeah, I need that promotion. I need those plugs. That's funny.
Yeah,
so
but
that's a milestone for you.
Yeah, to me that was it.
Yeah.
Having Michael Wheels Parisi on the podcast, it was great. Such
Wow.
and to kind of like a full circle on that sense. So after doing that, I became a regular host at LA Comedy Club and at Vegas Live. My first feature gig was thanks to Wheels. He booked me to do my first feature. You know, I didn't. You know, a lot of comics when they first start doing comedy, right away, like 6 months into it, they're like, "Oh yeah, I got 40 minutes. I got 50 minutes in the can. I could do 40 minutes on stage."
Yeah,
but it's all shit. It's all garbage.
Right.
You know,
it's not 40 of your best.
it's
right?
not the best.
Yeah.
At this time, I was not even close to being 15 or 20 minutes when he asked me to feature, which is probably, at this point, I'm about 4 or 5 years into it. And he had me do it. Wow. I was so grateful because he paid me like 150 or 200, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's great for comics, for people who don't realize.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like, honestly.
And I don't live off of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I have my full-time job.
Yeah.
But it is great. It's still great to do 15 minutes and get paid close to 200. You know,
because
like
I see people do it for free all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah,
it's awesome.
If you do something that you love for free, if you're willing to do it for the rest of your life, eventually you deserve to get paid for it.
I agree.
Reach. I think I heard Sam. I think who was it? It was Jason Tebow and Steve Simone said that, and it stuck with me.
Great guys.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you were on stage at the Stratosphere. You said basically, I'm gonna make the crowd nervous to see me. So, you know, like screw these guys. I'm gonna make them laugh.
Yeah, I went there with a lot of confidence.
Did you catch the bug right after that? Like for real? Because I know it was starting to get to you.
The comedy bug?
Yeah.
I gotta say the comedy bug started in 2011, so like a year before that.
So you already were into it at that point.
Yeah, because what you asked me earlier was what made me want to do it, right? Or how did it? It was the internet.
Yes.
Being an attention whore and owning a camera. Mm-hmm. When I owned my first video camera, me and my friend would start doing skits.
Right. That's a volatile mix of attention in the camera.
Yes, absolutely. We started doing like these, like trying to imitate Saturday Night Live and stuff like that.
All right.
On my Talk Boy, I used to have a Talk Boy. Remember that from Home Alone?
I don't.
No?
I'm sure if I saw it.
I don't.
It's like this little cassette recorder. It was handheld. It looked kind of like a gun because it was like with the trigger, but it was the record button. And it had a microphone on top. And you were talking to it. Then you could hit slow motion, fast forward.
Oh.
So I used to try to, before podcasting, before I even thought of podcasting, I used to try to imitate the radio. Try to do my own radio shows and mix in music and stuff like that. So there was, and then I would show it off to friends.
Yeah.
Or my mom. Oh, look what I could do, you know?
Right. But you didn't post it.
No.
Yeah.
There was no internet.
Right.
You know?
So you would actually just do a podcast and like
just show it to friends.
Word of mouth.
Posting back then was sharing it.
Just showing it to my friends. Yeah. I'll run downstairs to the big boombox and play it.
Right.
You know?
That's awesome.
Or go to the cassette player and show the videos that we would do and stuff. So YouTube came around, and me and Tony, my best friend, we still did skits.
Yeah.
So we started putting it on YouTube. Facebook was starting to blow up, and then people started telling me on Facebook, "Hey, you should be a comedian, man. You're always making me laugh with your videos." And these videos, when I look back, they're horrible. Like, why were you guys laughing at this? You guys are idiots. This made you laugh?
Yeah. Well, I should definitely do comedy.
So people would tell me that. So I don't know how to do it. I have no idea. Well, there was a morning radio show with this guy named Panama. That was his nickname, the radio host. And his sidekick was Dave McCarelli, a comedian. Okay. And while I'm at work being a cable guy, I would listen to them and I would prank call them. As an adult, okay, this is how much of a immature person I am. Here I am, 22, 23 years old, and I'm prank calling the radio station and hanging up and just dying laughing, like just having a blast, you know?
Right.
Calling my coworkers, hey, tune into the Buzz, whatever station it was at the time, and I'm going to call him right now. And I've had characters. I had this character called the Drunken Mexican.
Yeah.
And I just sound like a drunk with a thick Mexican accent.
It was like a Crank Yankers type of thing, or like characters and shit. That's
exactly,
awesome.
dude.
That's cool.
So this guy, Dave McRae, he would announce when he was going to do a show locally in Reno. And he was going to do a show at the Nugget.
Okay.
The Golden Nugget in Carson City. I decided to go out. We decided to go, right? Mm-hmm. We went to go see him. And this is the first time I meet him face to face. And then I confessed to him that I was the guy that would prank call.
Wow.
And I thought he was going to be pissed off.
Right.
And he's like,
and
dude.
he slapped you. I'm just kidding.
He's like, that's so funny. I actually thought he was going to be pissed off that I was prank calling him all the time.
But he liked it.
They're idiots, though. Why didn't they fucking pre-screen the calls? You know?
That's
it was all
basic.
Live. I could have just
Dave
cussed.
McRae, if you're hearing this.
Yeah.
No, but no.
Just kidding. He's like, no.
Why wouldn't you pre-screen?
Why?
So
That's true.
So, anyway, after his show, I said, you were so funny, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, hey, man, you ever thought about doing comedy? And here it is now coming from a comedian. So I'm like, yeah, but I don't know how. And he's like, here, you go to an open mic, prepare 2-3 minutes, gave me the rundown. And it still passed maybe another 6 months. And then finally I did it. And that's when I caught the bug.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, because
that's so cool.
I put it on Facebook. I said, hey, guys, I'm going to do comedy. And, bro, people were so supportive. I had it was like this hipster dive hole-in-the-wall bar called Third Street Bar where they did an open mic. All white kids, college kids. And I packed that place with like 60 Mexicans.
Wow. Word of mouth, just Facebook.
Through Facebook, dude.
Yeah.
People showed up. It was a comedy competition. The format of the open mic, it was like at the end you would see who was the funniest, whatever.
Right.
I won, not because I was funny, but because I brought so many people.
Oh, yeah.
So they voted for me.
Had a G.
Sold some drinks. You did some shit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I won. And, bro, that laughter just, I had to keep doing it, keep chasing it. I won, so the next week I went there again. Half of the friends showed up. I didn't bomb until the third time.
Okay.
I ate shit.
You think that's luck? Do you think most people bomb before their third performance, or no?
I think the right way to do it, to be honest, is don't tell anybody and just do it and bomb a lot.
Okay. So don't invite friends.
No.
So you took a chance.
I took a chance. I am lucky because a lot of people that do what I do, will do what I did, that I've seen in my little comedy career of 8-9 years that I've been doing it. I've seen a lot of people do it the way I did it.
Yeah.
But they're not around anymore. Because it's this false hope that you have when you have all your friends laughing, and of course they're going to laugh at your setups.
Of course.
You know, I'll send you my video of my first. I'll send it to you later. It's like private on YouTube now, but
at least you have it.
Yeah, it's great to have it. But you could just hear it. They're laughing at setups. They're laughing, and it felt great. It felt so good, but the moment they stop coming or the moment they hear you do the same jokes, it's like, when are you going to write new jokes or whatever?
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends or acquaintances, I would say, that did it that way, and they're not doing comedy anymore. They gave up.
Because of that initial, quote-unquote, I guess, false
hope
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's and that's why a lot of people talk shit about comedy classes. Because comedy classes, you pay, I think they're very beneficial, but you pay money to learn shit you could just learn on the internet.
Yes.
Nowadays, or podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know more about comedy than a lot of people.
Yeah.
That
just because of podcasts.
Just because of podcasts.
Yeah.
It's this new way of learning.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people shit on comedy schools because you're paying them money, and the guy teaching it's never somebody that's successful. It's always like
some guy. If it worked, he wouldn't be teaching the guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a failed comic. Kind of like, was that show with the guy from Saturday Night Live? He's a serial killer.
Is it that
Barry?
Barry.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of that show, Barry?
I was thinking Dexter or something like that.
It's kind of like that
guy, yeah.
Barry is like this wannabe actor, but he's also like a killer. It's a really cool show. But anyways, without giving you the spoilers, he is trying to be an actor in Hollywood, so he's going to comedy classes. I mean, acting classes. But of course, the teacher is a failed actor.
Right.
It's so funny. Like,
that is funny.
And it's the guy from the Fonz from Happy Days.
Winkler. Yeah.
Yeah, Winkler. He's a great actor. But He's so good at playing a failed actor. It's amazing.
Certain vibe.
So that's why a lot of people that go to these comedy classes and they pay for this money. And I don't know if you know this, but like in comedy classes, at the end when you graduate, they'd have you invite all your friends and family.
Oh.
So then you perform. It's almost the same setting.
Right.
And here you are with this false hope. Now you're
Right.
going to get sent into the comedy world and eat shit now.
Ah, you know what?
know?
That's interesting because I did magic classes as a kid, and it was the same setup.
Oh, yeah?
At the end, we did a show. We practiced our tricks with one another. I think it was good, but at the same time, your family's not going to boo you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all everybody's very supportive.
Yeah.
Which is great. You know, there's really nothing wrong with it. I think that's why people shit on it. Mm-hmm. I took some comedy classes after the fact that I started it. I learned a lot. There's a lot of beneficial things you can learn from.
Interesting.
So, yeah. I took a comedy class from this guy named Dante. Mm-hmm. And what I liked about his class, it was more like he taught you the business.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's
important.
Yeah. Some comedy classes, they try to teach you to be funny, and no one can teach that.
No.
You learn it.
Yeah.
I do believe that people could suck really bad on stage, and you become better by doing it. You just got to keep doing it.
Yes.
You hear stories of Sebastian. Even Joey will say it. He was struggling for a long time.
Was he?
Yeah. I mean, he always had like this talent, but he wasn't as great as he is now, obviously. It's because he made himself that way.
He worked his ass off.
He was working as a waiter, and all right.
It's Las Vegas, everybody.
Yeah. So for the listeners, I just got distracted by this guy that looked like he was wearing a romper.
This isn't Miami, is it?
No, it's like he's wearing like like there's Hawaiian shirts, and he's wearing the matching shorts.
He looks like the produce aisle. That's what he looks like. It's awful.
Oh.
But comedy class is what you were touching on.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Squirrel.
I just looked at him.
Oh shit. But you think it's worth it though? Like
I think so.
In some cases,
I think so. Just you just gotta be careful. Don't get ripped off.
Yeah.
Because in comedy, people will take advantage of you. People will use you and everything. And that's one of the reasons I love Joey.
Yes.
Because Joey knows all about the business. He's been through it all. And like when he asked me to open for him at the South Point, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was willing to do it for free, dude. I mean, I'm opening for one of my heroes.
Exactly,
right?
You
know, this is amazing.
Yeah.
He comes up to me with the envelope and pays me.
Wow.
You know.
And you didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it. It was for 10 minutes on each night, 2 nights, and it was no offense to Michael Wheels Parisi, but it was way more. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, I didn't need to, this is crazy.
Right.
So like there's people that will use you and take advantage of you, but then there's people that will do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And teach you that you're worth something, that there's a value to you, that kind of thing.
That's so true. It's almost hard to come by a lot in entertainment because it's a business where people are trying to get ahead at all costs, right?
Yeah,
I think that's a big factor of it, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the most important like business tips, I guess, for somebody who might not know, like for stand-up?
Business tips?
Yeah, like, I think there's a certain way to deal with people in comedy, but it's hard to articulate, I think.
Yeah.
It's...
Well, a smart business move is, there's going to be people that are funny right off the start. Yeah. I have a friend named Jocelyn that started a year after me, Jocelyn Sharp. She was funny from the beginning.
Yeah.
She's a killer. But when you're not funny from the beginning, you are going to be funny, but what I mean is you're not seasoned. So there's a lot of things you need to grow in comedy still. So while you're there, remember and acknowledge that and make yourself useful to other people so that you can get like the stage time. So
that's good.
A smart business move is, for example, with Edwin San Juan, I grew a lot under him. He was my mentor for a long time.
Okay.
And I learned so much from him. I'm very grateful. But at the same time, I wasn't just... When he came into town and he got offered to be the resident headliner at Planet Hollywood from these guys, is like, that used to be just a regular comedy club. They would swap comics every week. they wanted to have him there always.
Wow.
So that's his job now. You know,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like the Carrot Top like resident, like something like that. Wow.
And he's been there already over 5 years. And
damn.
So when comics saw that there was a new comic here giving spots, time, stage time, they flocked and they would just like go over there and just hang out. But they would just show up and smoke weed and just get drunk or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I would show up with my Zoom. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, Edwin, you want to record your set? Do you want to record audio? Do you want to record video? Make yourself useful in a way, Yeah.
Maybe a little interview after the show.
Interviews, yeah. And I ended up producing this podcast. He started a podcast for a while, and it was very successful for a long time.
Nice.
And so there's things like that, making yourself useful, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
But then you also have to be careful because some people will take advantage of it.
Yes.
So that's the part where, if you're doing comedy, more likely you're over 21 because you can't really perform before that unless, it's like a bar or like a coffee shop.
You can slip in, I guess.
You can slip in.
Yeah, it's not easy.
But even people that are adults, you would think, you'd be smarter than that, but there's people who will take advantage.
Yeah.
And by that I mean like, here's one thing I learned from this guy named Jack Jr. He's the son of the owners of the Ha Ha Comedy Club. Okay. And you probably heard that Ha Ha
definitely
before, right?
They have quite a few, right?
Yeah, they used to have two. Now it's just one.
Okay.
But D'Agostino,
yep,
he used to be one of the managers there.
Oh wow.
It's a great club. Anyway, Jack Jr. told me something maybe like 2-3 years ago. He said, when somebody's trying to ask you for something, you need to figure out what they're going to give you in return.
Yeah.
As far as comedy goes, like I live in Vegas, so comics see me as like, oh man, Freddie could give me some stage time in this.
Yeah.
And it's not really like that. I don't really have the power to give you stage time.
Right.
But if I'm willing to vouch for somebody, when I go to LA, are you going to vouch for me? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the kind of, I think, business advice I would give, because that's very important.
Well, that's the thing, because everybody's trying to level up, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense to... It has to be a mutual thing, I think, if it's going to make sense.
Yeah.
No. I would throw in, having worked at a club for a while, and I don't know what it's like here, because that's in Canada, when people leave during the show, when they're on the show, that's a big faux pas, at least in Edmonton. I don't know how it is here. Do people typically do their sets and leave? Like features, I mean.
Like after their sets?
Yeah, like if, let's say we have 6 comics at the Strat.
Yeah.
And Willie was up the other night, and he asked for this guy who was performing. Where is he at? And they said he left, and the whole room was sort of like,
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I always hear in Edmonton. I always hear, stay for the whole show, be gracious.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't always.
You can't always if you have prior engagements.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Go do another set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, I mean, that happens. I think it's important to stay.
Yeah.
If you can.
If you can.
I like to be the guy that shakes hands afterwards. I like to shake. And again, being the attention whore, I want to hear it. Great set.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Just wanted to reaffirm
when I eat shit, and we all do. People think just because she's been doing it for a while. No, even Joe. That's why I love Joey, because Joey's so honest. He'll be like, yeah, I ate dicks at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Like, this is a guy that's been doing it over 30 years.
Seriously.
He says he eats dicks, And maybe to other people, he did great, but he knows to himself, he bombed to himself.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I do bomb, I don't want to talk to them afterwards.
Yeah.
I just, maybe I'll talk to them, but... Or sometimes there's an audience that you just don't like.
Yeah.
You're like, this is a dumb audience or something like that, and then you just stay away. But for the most part, I try to always say hi or bye. Like the other night we did Sam Tripoli's show downtown.
Oh, nice. With Eddie?
Yeah.
Nice.
Eddie Bravo.
How was that?
I wish I would have stayed for the whole show, but I opened and then I rushed here.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to do the spot here, but I wish I would have stayed because it was so cool it's so cool. There's a difference when you're just working at a comedy club and people are just coming because it's a comedy club.
Yes.
Not necessarily coming to see the comedian.
That must happen at the Laugh Factory a lot.
Yes.
Because it's a big name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The laugh at, like, when you hear Don Mairera is going there, people go there to see Don Mairera. Like,
yes.
There's people that draw. Well, Sam's show was a draw.
Yeah.
Everybody was there for him and Eddie.
Yes.
Because their podcast has been blowing out. Tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
And it's so different to do a show, let's say, compared to a regular comedy club where nobody knows really who's the headliner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a fun show, but nobody really knows who they're. Then when you go to see, when you perform for an audience that's there because they're a fan of the headliner.
Yeah.
It's so different. Like
it's a big vibe.
Like when I did it for Joey, yeah. Because it's just it's like the environment is just, it's amazing.
Wow.
It's so amazing.
It's electric.
It's electric. Yes. It was great. Now, here's where it comes kind of like, again, I said full circle earlier. But when you become a comic that you could draw and your fans are coming to see you perform, it's almost like that first mic I did because they're all there for you.
Yes.
They're all there to support you.
Oh, okay.
You
So
see
that
what I'm
is
saying?
not in a good way, per se.
This time it's in a good way.
Oh, it is in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you earned it now.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
It's not out of graciousness. It's because you put out a product that they like. Now they come see you. So like when Rogan goes out there and he's selling out now arenas.
Yep.
It's because he built this.
Exactly.
He deserves it.
Through what he actually already did,
Yes.
not just because, oh, I know this guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's so you mentioned the first time you bombed, you didn't get into the story. What was that like? Did you expect it?
No.
No, because you did good the first two times.
Yeah. It was my other best friend Sammy, who now does comedy. Lizzie was there, Sammy, and Sammy had been to the other two prior shows. So Sammy, when he saw me do it, he wanted to do comedy.
Okay.
And I think that might have scared him. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously.
Because he didn't start till like another 3 years after. But
oh wow.
But bro, it was insane because, like I said, the first time it was a bunch of not just Mexicans, there was Salvadorans, Latinos. Second week, half of them showed up. Third week, none of them. It was just her and Sammy. I would put it on Facebook. Okay, I'm gonna be at 3rd Street open mic. Come check it out. No one showed up. And I didn't expect it, dude. It was like from the beginning. It was just. Have you gone on stage yet?
I haven't.
No, because
That's coming.
You told me you wanted to do it.
I was gonna do it. I'm almost glad I didn't do it when I was though.
Yeah.
It was weird. I was like 17. It was just But especially after the show the other night.
Yeah.
I was looking around. I was like, I could actually. I would like to do this. Like fly in, do a spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's heaven to me.
Yeah.
Be it music, be it comedy. You know, like so. But
yeah,
no,
because I remember you talking about it years ago in interviews.
Yeah.
When you would like, I think you told Joey too on the podcast you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
You wanted to do comedy. And now you're 21, 22?
21.
21. Now you could easily get into. How were you working at the club if you weren't 21?
Dude, I was 16 working at that club.
Yeah?
Because they have a restaurant license.
Oh, okay.
So, very odd. But I got treated like crap. Everybody there was like 30 working there. They're like, all right, kid, get out of here.
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was a door guy.
Yeah.
So come in, I seat the people, but then I'd run in the sound booth, run the sound. Then I'd run in the kitchen, help with the kitchen. Yeah. It's pretty much everything.
That's what. So that's what Sammy was doing for a long time at Reno Tahoe Comedy Club. Okay. That's our home club out there. He was doing the sound. He even got a bartender's license at one point.
Wow. I
mean, he's older. He's in his 20s, but and then eventually he started doing comedy. But he knew pretty much the in and out of the comedy club.
That's the thing. Cool. It teaches you so much. Like I learned so much working there, and I think the biggest misconception about comedy is that it's all light behind the scenes. Like, oh yeah, it's you work at a comedy club, everybody's gonna be walking around having fun. Yeah. Not exactly. Yeah. There's moments, but it's not like what people expect, I think. Yeah. So. Yeah. But I think that was a good experience for me because I learned that this is sort of a little bit of a tough world, entertainment.
It sure is.
You know what I mean? Like,
it is.
It's not the easy path.
Working at the club now, now that the facade the veil is taken off, right? Yeah. When you see these headliners and these guys that are features, man, it's rough. If you haven't blown up, you're living week to week.
Yeah.
you're an independent contractor.
Yep.
You're out there trying to book your gigs, and it's rough, man. That's why, like, but if you persist and you keep, like, persistence is key, right?
Yeah.
You keep persevering, it's eventually it will pay off.
Exactly.
If you make the right moves too. If you're a comic that's a headliner, is always partying and always getting super drunk. I mean, I have nothing. I drink, I party, dude. But if that's all they're doing, blow and wasting their money and this and that, is like, they're never gonna get out of that routine.
Yeah,
it just sucks. But then you have people like, I look at people like a Bill Burr or Sebastian.
Yeah.
I feel bad that I have a daytime job. I feel bad. But at the same time, I look at some of the headliners, and it's like, damn, I don't want to live that life either.
Why not?
I don't want to live the life where I'm barely struggling for the money.
Right.
And I'm over here kissing bookers' asses
to
book me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I that's like Bill Burr talks about it. He did construction for over 10 years on his first 10 years of comedy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had his wait for that motorcycle. But he did comedy and was a construction worker for a long time.
Wow, man.
You know?
That's insane to think. One of the biggest comics in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking digging ditches and jumping on stage.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. So I was like,
what doesn't he do? He flies a damn helicopter? Like, the guy's nuts. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. And I think Adam Carolla, he's a huge construction guy too.
Yes.
I mean, he didn't do stand up until later on in life, but you know,
he literally dug ditches.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
so you have like Sebastian waiting tables, and this is why. Here's why I say the facade, the veil that we all, like you said, it's all lights, it's all this and that. But when you go to LA, when I went to LA, it was lifted. The veil was like, I thought all these guys I listened to on podcasts, they were full-time comics. A lot of these guys, I'm not gonna mention names.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys and girl comics that they're hilarious on podcasts, and they even have specials, dude.
Wow.
Some of them have day jobs.
That's crazy.
That's
insane. I guess it goes for the same for music, though.
Yeah.
Because I kind of interviewing artists, you kind of find that out, but that's wild. Because that is the facade. Because people see you on Netflix, they're like, they're rich.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but it's not true.
And I know some people on Netflix that have done, like, let's say those 10 or the 15-minute specials or the 20-minute specials, barely have money to pay rent.
Wow.
So comedy, that's why it's something you really gotta love, and you're doing it because you love it, not for the money.
Hell yeah.
You know, I guess like any art, any art is really like that.
I think comedy has a lot of that, in podcasting almost more so, because it's like a lot harder to make any cash in that.
Some guy just threw some bottles in the middle of the street. All right.
That's Vegas for you.
That's Vegas. Bring back the romper guy.
Yeah. I like that guy.
So much nicer.
That's him. He just covered up.
He covered up. Got mad. We were making fun of him. All right.
How we doing on time? I got some questions, but
yeah. Let's do it. I mean, if we go a little over, right? What time is it? 8:48. Yeah.
Okay, bro.
Well, how much time you got?
I'm good for a couple questions. I was just wondering in terms of spots, because you mentioned like LA, you can go out and do a lot more spots. What's it?
Yeah.
Because I know you said like a place like the Laugh Factory doesn't really have show up, go up. Is there a lot of that then, or?
Where, like
in Vegas? Yeah.
In Vegas, the only ones really doing that for locals, comedy clubs, is it used to be LA Comedy Club and Edwin Spot. But now there's been right now comedy's blowing up again. It's crazy.
Nice.
So new comedy clubs are opening up. So there's like 2 clubs downtown that they're like that now.
Yeah.
They're catering more for the young talent to go up. But other than that, there's a really cool comedy scene in Vegas that they say, if you don't want to put us up at the club, we're going to make our own shows. So it's like this new movement, this new scene where they're showing up to a bar and saying, what's your slowest night? Okay, I'm going to do a comedy show, and I'm going to have people come here. We're going to perform, and we're going to make you money at the bar.
Nice.
So there's these, like, Ian, this guy named Ian, Rainier, he produces these shows called Fun Days out here. So he has Sunday Fun Day, tonight at the Stand Dollar, Monday Fun Day. So he calls them Fun Day as his brand, but he's producing them throughout town now.
Wow.
So it's like if the clubs aren't booking you, make your own shows.
Right.
And that's what Sam Tripoli. Sam Tripoli is originally from Vegas. He started comedy out here.
Oh.
So the history of the comedy scene in Vegas was Doug Stanhope. He was in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
He was coming up as a comic out here in Vegas.
Right.
After that, kind of the scene kind of died out. Vegas has never really been a place where you start. It's where you end.
Right.
You know?
Established sort of, or more so.
You come here to have your residency.
Yeah.
And you finish your career here.
Right.
So it's really hard to kind of start ass backwards, you know? You're like...
That's true.
You know?
That's a good point.
Because
in terms of my thinking.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking I want to come out to a place like this and start. It's doable.
It's very doable.
You did it.
Yeah.
But
it's very doable. But I'm not looking down on it because times change, you see.
True.
So the thing, if anything, it really helps you. Maybe it inspires you to get better because you're competing against Cirque du Soleil.
Yep.
You're competing, you're competing. This is the entertainment capital of the world.
Honestly.
You're competing on a Friday night against 2 Chainz, you know?
Yeah. Aerosmith, you name it, right?
Yeah, so
crazy.
You better like put up a really good show.
Yeah.
Look at these people on the bus staring at us.
What up?
What up?
Nobody's staring.
Nobody's staring at
me. I was like, I'm looking for
one person. I saw one person. Like, don't stare at me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, so Sam Tripoli, his mentality was, nobody's going to book him, because at the time, this is before LA Comedy Club.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, nobody's going to book me. I'm going to do my own shows. And he started doing his own shows out here. Started producing his shows and eventually moved to LA. But, you know, it's a great place to start also, I think. I think, in my opinion, Vegas it's actually pretty tough compared to other places.
Yes.
Because you're really competing. Like, even the shows that my buddy Ian produces, you're at a bar in Vegas. It's not just performing at a bar. At the bar, they have slot machines.
Right.
So you're performing for the attention of those patrons.
Right.
To stop gambling and turn around and listen to, you know? So
and look away from whatever game is on. Or,
exactly.
Yeah.
I used to do an open mic. I used to run my own show at this place where they had that basketball machine. Man, if somebody put in that $1 and started playing that while we're performing, it was so loud. It was
like,
horrible.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's crazy. But that's kind of what it's like right now in Alberta.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like, people are going to every bar, and they're like, I'm going to do a show here. We're going to do it on this night. And then they work, they practice, they get their name out, and they go to Toronto.
Yeah.
I don't know if you performed in Canada.
Not yet. I haven't been to Canada.
Honestly, man, I think you should check it out. Like, even Edmonton, it's not the most nice city or whatever, but the clubs, like Rick Bronson's comedy club, that's the one I worked at.
Yeah.
They're so good about bringing people in, doing spots.
Okay.
And the Toronto scene is crazy right now.
How far is Edmonton from Toronto?
It's pretty much across the country.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's far. But
Edmonton is in centered? Is in the middle?
It's in the western part. So
western,
it's
closer to Vancouver.
Yeah. Right next to it. Alberta. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm sound like a idiot American. What's
No.
Alberta? State or
province?
It's a province.
Yeah. So the equivalent of a state.
I'm a real idiot.
No.
It wasn't even a state.
Same idea though. Same thing.
Yeah.
You know. So it's like, and we're sort of the Texas of Canada. It's like
really?
it's like a western kind of. You know what I mean? That's why I'm looking to relocate. Like, why am I driving past bales of hay? Like, that's got nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? So, like, I got to be in a place like this.
So you're thinking of changing scenes? Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, yeah. It was always L.A.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was telling you earlier, I don't want to live in Cali right now. A lot of tough regulations, especially if you, let's say I was to hopefully one day make it big and start making a lot of money. You have a hard time in Cali. You know what I mean? As you guys know. It's like you can't build a house. You can't do shit.
You got to have room. I mean, you'll probably have roommates here too, but it really is tough. My buddy, I was telling you earlier that he was renting a studio for like almost $1,000. Before that, when we went to visit him, remember he was roommates with a chick sharing in a studio.
In a studio.
So weird.
That's crazy.
They were sleeping in the same room.
Like bed on the floor?
Yeah,
or what?
like he had his little bed, a little air bed on one side of the living room, a little kind of divider type of thing. And I'm like, this is what people are paying for to live out here. Now he's great. He's in a great apartment now with a buddy that it's a condo.
Well, he deserves it.
Yeah,
clearly.
But, man, people.
That's crazy.
People pay a price to live for a city like that, or like I would imagine New York.
I was just gonna say that's that type of New York thing.
Yeah, I know. I have friends that are comedians, like guy and girl. They're comics, but it's almost like they're just in they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like they're just in a relationship so they could be roommates.
Yeah, it's the most effective.
So they could afford it to live in New York. Yeah,
that's crazy. That New York is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
When it comes to the comedy scene.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think that's where people should do comedy.
Yeah.
If you want to grow and get big,
start in New York or relocate.
I take it back. Not get big. If you want to grow and become a great comic,
right?
Go
to New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a place I've never been either.
It's a beautiful city.
I'm looking to hit that up.
As much as people shit on it because it is dirty and a lot of rats. I got to see a lot of rats, right? But it really is. It's that everything you see growing up on TV.
That's one thing I like about here is that strip area downtown. I don't see. Like, I'm sure they have them. I don't see rats. I don't see cockroaches, really. I'm sure they're around, but it's a lot cleaner than a lot of places.
In the summer, you'll see the cockroaches that fly.
In the summer? Oh, shit.
Flying cockroaches.
So this is just a season where they're away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank God for that. I'm coming back every November. Damn.
No, Vegas is a good spot, though. It really is. But, yeah. It just... I have... So you... And sorry, I've been... This is a swapcast. I've just been enjoying just talking and hearing myself talk.
No, we're talking, bro.
But I wanted to ask you, so what do you think? What would be the reason you haven't done comedy yet? Because that's what you want to do still, or
it's an aspect of what I want to do.
Okay.
It's sort of one of those things where I want to do comedy. I want to act. I want to host shows. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where, and I also am working on music now.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of just trying to decide what to start with, because I feel like any of those guys, like you look at, big examples, but somebody like a Will Smith, a Queen Latifah even.
Yeah.
It's sort of crucial where they start.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to introduce myself to the world in that regard yet. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're going to really want to hear music from me as much if I get on stage first. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. So that's honestly, and I'm nervous.
I see.
Yeah.
But when you look at how you started, when you started doing podcasting, you started right from your bedroom.
Oh, yeah. I started from recording on a built-in mic and then playing it back into that built-in mic to post it.
Yeah.
It sounded terrible. It sounded like I was underground. Yeah.
but hey, man, you were producing art.
That's it.
You were doing it. I don't think it's so much about where you start.
Okay.
Because where you start is not where you're going to finish.
That's true.
So that's very important, because you don't want to finish. You don't want, why wait to move out here, let's say. Here's what I recommend. And this is what Steve Simone told Sammy. Okay. This is what Sammy did when Sammy finally did comedy, because Sammy kept talking about doing comedy, he wanted to do it. And Steve Simone said, the jokes that you prepare, the jokes that you say on stage, they're not even going to matter a year after that.
Right. That's
none
true.
None of that matters. I said, I'm going to send you the link of my set.
Please.
I don't do none of that shit no more.
Okay.
I don't.
Because why, right?
You grow out of it.
New
you
stuff.
grow out of it and you realize, this is the easy way of doing this. This is the easy way to get shock value, laughter.
Right.
The humor. Because I was just a baby in comedy, and I still am, but why wait? Why wait to be that baby in comedy next year when you could be a baby now and be a toddler next year? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because
that's a good point.
It's just passing. It's just flying by.
It's insane.
Feels like you were just 14 when I first heard you on Joey's.
I know.
It was just
a lot of people still think I'm like a little kid.
6 years. It's been 6-7 years, and it's like, yeah, it's great that you took your time. And here's the thing: when you finally do it, Do it for a little while, and you might decide this ain't for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say wait till you have the perfect joke, the perfect bit, because it's not going to happen.
That's true.
The perfect bit, the perfect joke, you know enough about comedy that doesn't really happen until you work it out on stage a lot.
Yeah. No one will tell you what's good other than the audience, right?
The audience.
So it's like you got to get up there and find out what's good.
You go up there, you record with your iPhone, the audience is going to help you write your jokes. When you listen back and you ate a big fat one, you're going to cringe, but you're going to be like, yeah, man. After 3 times, okay, I need to change this joke or give it up.
Yeah.
And she's like one of the best at telling me when a joke.
Yeah. The honesty's there.
Yeah. Oh, she's so honest because I'll keep doing a joke. She'll be like, you should change this part around. You already tried it, and it never gets a laugh.
Sometimes a little too honest.
A little too honest. Where I get mad at her. I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah, it's like, hang on a second. I like that one.
Can you handle the truth?
Well, I don't like to tell her jokes before I try them on stage anymore because if she discourages me, and I'd rather impress her.
Yeah.
I'd rather like not tell her, do it on stage. She'll be like, oh, I like that one, or because that's another thing. I think it's better to hold off your joke. And if you're going to do it in front of somebody, but in a sneaky way.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell them you're writing this because then they're going to want to add something or change it.
Yeah, that's always kind of weird, too, when you see that.
What are you looking at me like that?
I'm not looking at you.
Oh, you give me that look. You're like, okay.
I just knew.
But she, and sorry, but she's dead on, though, when she tells me that I need to switch something up.
Yeah.
Like, last Friday, I did that joke. The iguana joke, it's just one of the dumbest jokes ever. And I'll just say here, I'm not trying to material, I'm just going to give you an example. Mm-hmm. But like I say, whenever you ask somebody if you have a kid, when it's somebody that doesn't have a kid and they have a dog or a cat, they respond, no, but I have a dog. Right. Or no, but I have a kid. It's like, I didn't ask you if you had a cat.
Yeah, I see if I had a kid.
Yeah, I had a kid. Yeah. And I say on the joke, only people that have cats and dogs respond that way.
Right.
We think we're better than people.
Right. Because
I have dogs, but it's like you never hear somebody say, oh, no, I don't have a kid. I have an iguana.
Right. It's just a cat or a dog.
Yeah. So I do that joke. That joke gets a laugh, but then I have the other joke after that. The gerbil part. I say, I don't have a kid. I have a gerbil.
Yeah.
You never hear somebody say that.
Yeah.
And
it worked better? Or?
It works better, but she's right, though. She's heard me say those 2 jokes side by side, and they can't. It's either or.
Yeah.
So she's like, you need to drop one of them. Mm-hmm. Because one gets a good laugh and the other one doesn't, or then the iguana doesn't and then the other one does. So this is the writing process of it that I'm trying to, like, kind of, it's just an example, right?
Yes.
So she tells me, drop the iguana, just try the gerbil. And then I do it at LA Comedy Club right after Sam's show. And then it went a whole different way.
Same joke, but with a little change.
A little change.
Right. Because what you say after.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can't say it here.
I don't want to give up my punchlines.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm probably not even going to do this 6 months from now.
You'll buy tickets at
FreddyCorrea.com.
Yeah.
No, it's. I'm embarrassed to say it. It's just so stupid.
Oh, okay.
It just, I say, you never hear somebody say, I don't have kids. I have a gerbil. Mm-hmm. His name's Richard Gere. It's a stupid joke. It's a throwaway joke.
But you're working on it.
Yeah, working on it. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, part of what you mentioned, and I like that, and I hate to always compare it to other arts, but they're so similar. It's hard not to.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I heard this music producer interviewed. I can't remember him, but big time guy, and he said an artist should never show somebody their song before it's done, because if they, like you said, if they discourage it, it'll affect you. But if they encourage it, it'll affect you.
Yes.
So that was a really cool thing that I heard. If somebody's like, that's really good, you're like, this is good, but what if it's not?
That's deep.
So I always think about that. I try to finish, but sometimes I think about it too much to the point where I can't put anything out.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
But it's a good point. Like,
that's so good.
Yeah.
Even if they encourage you, it's gonna affect you.
Yeah.
And it could be a really bad. Like, it might not be good, because that is so true. Because sometimes I think of a funny premise, a funny joke, and I'll share it with a buddy that's a headliner, a pro comic that does it full time. and their vision is not my vision, and they try to go a different way with it.
Yeah.
And I just listen to their advice. I'm like, ugh. Like, I think it's gross what they're telling me.
It's true. Yeah.
You know?
So you got to keep that close. You know,
very
but
close.
But it goes back to what we talked about before. It's the audience.
Yeah.
That's the audience.
Yeah, the audience. And that is true, because growing up in church, I used to write songs, like worship songs. Do you guys grew up religious or anything like that? Yeah?
Yeah, my pops did.
Yeah?
Me a little bit, yeah. We went to church Christmas.
Dad's a minister? Yeah? What kind of like denomination?
Anglican.
Anglican,
Yeah.
okay.
You went to church, right?
Yeah, I grew up in the church. I went to church every Sunday.
Every Sunday?
I was a choir boy. I was altar boy. You name it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I used to write music, write songs and stuff. You know, I was the worship leader. I would show sometimes. I noticed that. That's so funny. I would show some people my songs, and they would always give me some kind of advice that affected me a weird way. I never thought about it like that. Who said that? Who's the one that gave you that advice?
I just saw it somewhere.
Who said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
I was just looking up. Yeah, I was looking up like music theory and stuff, and it's just that was just. I always think of that.
Yeah.
All the time. Because I'm always tempted to say like, hey, I just wrote these 2 lines of a song.
Yeah.
But that person that you're telling that doesn't have the rest in their head. They don't have the concept, so it's completely out of their world, out of your world. It just becomes something different at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think you gotta get it ready.
Yeah.
You know, not gonna go on stage with half a joke, I guess. Fuck.
No. Well,
know?
but look, there's nothing wrong with trying to get advice from somebody or some feedback.
Yes.
Because somebody that has done it for a little while might have a little bit more insight or something. So like,
yes.
Whether feel free to reach out to me when you want to work out a joke, and I've helped a lot of friends that I met through the internet as well. Like my buddy Dave Nunez and Che, shout out to them in Houston. They started doing comedy, and they would send me their ideas, and I would give them some feedback on it.
Nice.
But I would always tell them the same thing. Until you do it on stage, you're not gonna know if it's.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But
it's a crazy game.
Yeah, yeah.
But you clearly enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get on stage now, though.
Yeah.
I think it's just a feeling.
That feeling you had when you went to LA Comedy Club, you're like, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's the bug.
Yeah.
That bug's trying to bite you.
Brewing, right?
Yeah. Because we were at an open mic. We would go to the open mics when Dave told me to go check out these spots. I started going to these open mics, and like I said, it took me like 6 months to actually man up and do it. But I would go out there. I forgot to mention James Goff, huh? James Goff is another comic that, with Dave, working at the same comedy club, Catch a Rising Star.
Okay.
He came to Reno, and I told him I wanted to do comedy. He gave me advice, and he's like, next time I come to Reno in a couple months, if you're not doing stand-up yet, I'm gonna kick your ass. Because I just gave you all this advice. You didn't take it, then I just wasted my time. And bro, like, he's one of my mentors. I'm in touch with him. He lives in New York.
Nice.
He's a beast of a comic. It's crazy. Anyway, what was I saying? Forgot what
you said he was gonna kick your ass if you didn't do comedy.
That's right. So then I started going to the open mics, and that's what I want to get to.
Yeah.
That bug, that thing that's brewing in you. I would see the guys going up, and I'm like, I am way funnier than these guys.
Right.
Fuck these guys.
That's the other one. I'm funnier than this guy.
Yeah. And that's just your ego, whatever it is inside of you. But there's really nothing wrong with that. That's just you being, having that competitive spirit and all that.
Right.
I could do better than that, which is great.
Maybe you're not meant for it if you don't have that. Like, if you don't have some of that, I don't think you belong in it.
The difference is just don't do it on Facebook. Don't put it on Facebook and be an asshole.
Exactly. No, that's the hardest thing. It's like,
man, I murdered tonight.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah. Every time I go to write something on social media in this day and age, trying to do entertainment, I think about it for like 10 minutes. I'm like, am I gonna post this?
Yeah.
It's crazy shit. But
what's the perception you're gonna give?
Yeah, honestly. But I think it's getting better for comics. What do you think? In terms of the censorship and,
I think it's getting better, and I'm just gonna sound like a hack because I just heard Rogan say it, and it's so true. It's good and bad, and I'm just repeating pretty much what I heard. I think today on a recent episode. He says it's getting better because people are taking more risks.
Yes.
But at the same time, it is a little bit bad because people are they get offended too easily.
Yeah.
But that's why when you do take that risk and it hits, that's the reward, you know?
Right.
But yeah, as far as comedy, you know, there's comedians that they want less comics. Mm-hmm. I'm more of a person that I want more comedy. I want more people to be doing comedy.
Right. More of a selection.
More podcasters.
Yeah.
You know?
See who lasts as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting because you said like a lot of the guys, they're just like, where is he? Oh, he just doesn't come around anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
It's sad. It's sad seeing people that started comedy with me or people that started before me that, let's say they were 5 years in.
Yeah.
And then they quit. And now it's almost like they stumped their growth.
Yeah.
And they remained a little 5-year-old in comedy. You know, and then
they didn't continue.
And yeah, and it was like, I have somebody that, like, the person I'm using as an example, he was doing comedy. He was already like headlining at 5 years doing comedy, dude.
Wow.
Killer.
Wow.
He decided to stop doing it for whatever reason, and I saw him recently, and it's like we're like at different levels now.
Yeah. That's a trip.
I'm not as nearly as talented. He has his natural talent.
Right.
But we're at different levels in the sense that he stayed small. He stayed in that little the material never grew.
Yeah.
You know?
The subject matter and everything.
Yeah.
And then
it's sad. It's really sad.
It's weird. Yeah. It's a strange thing.
Yeah.
What I admire is the guys who I'll leave. I won't go to a comedy club for 4 months and I'll come back and the guy's sitting at the back still. And I'm like, oh, he's been here every other night since I've been at home.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Freaking dedication.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with quitting comedy. If they figure out it's not for them, it's not for, you know what I mean?
What are you going to do?
Yeah. I'm not hating on that.
No.
You know,
just a perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But after this conversation and after the other night, and I'm probably going to try to see another comedy show somewhere around here.
Yeah.
I think it's time. Well, I know it's time.
Yeah.
It's past time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe we could get him some tickets to the Cellar, huh?
Oh, there's a Cellar here.
Is that the Real?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a great club.
No shit.
It's a great club, but that's one of the clubs that they're not really catering to the locals, but it's just a great club because it's the Cellar.
Yeah. Laugh
Factory is a great club. Brad Garrett's, you know.
They got Kimmel too, right?
Kimmel now.
Yeah, I saw
Kimmel's
that one.
a recent one that's been catering to the. They've been putting young up and comers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's
good.
Cool. Yeah.
With a big name like that behind it, that's what they should be doing.
Yeah. Well, we have this thing. We might, if you guys are up for one night, if you guys want to go to Cellar. When are you guys leaving?
Thursday.
Yeah, I could probably get you. I just gotta pick him up at the ticket booth. Yeah.
Oh, sweet, man. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah.
That was my first comedy show out of country, so out of Canada.
Cool.
Some crazy shit.
The Cellar is a different style. It's more like the Comedy Store because they put like 5 or 6 comics and everybody's just 15 minutes. There's no like headliner.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
just people
cool.
come up.
Yeah. But
That's
it's pretty
incredible.
cool. So you feel like doing it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. Absolutely.
And you mentioned music. What are you doing with music? Like, are you playing music or are you making beats? What are you doing?
Both. I've been playing drums since I was like 13.
Okay.
And I'm picking up guitar now. I write raps. I write like acoustic songs. Just everything. Because I'm just looking at artists. There's artists from sort of my like generation who are around my age.
Yeah.
Who are doing stuff like, I don't know if you know XXXTentacion.
Yeah.
He got shot and everything, right? But he was 20 or 19 when he passed.
Yeah.
And he would release an album of a Spanish song, hard hip-hop, screamo metal.
Yeah.
All in one album, acoustic. And I was like, you know what? I think the most beautiful thing about music, especially, is that there's no rules. As long as it sounds good. That's the only rule.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's just such a nice creative outlet.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. You just have to dedicate to being a multifaceted artist because, like, I don't want to come out as a rapper or a rock guy.
Yeah.
I just want to come out as an artist.
And even that, I'll tell you, like, same thing as comedy, as it goes with comedy. There's open mics for hip hop.
Wow.
You know,
I guess so.
I'm sure if you find them in Edmonton, in the state of Alberta.
Yeah, my favorite state.
Yeah, the great state of Alberta. You'll find there's open mics for hip hop.
There is actually.
Yeah.
I actually went. It wasn't an open mic, but I went to a showcase.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that okay, I really opened my eyes.
I would say start going to those and start going to some open mics for hip hop, because that's going to encourage you too.
Yeah.
And I would say even that anything that you want to do, I disencourage to wait till you move to the place where you want to. I say start now.
I agree.
Earliest.
Now that we're talking about it more, and I've sort of been hearing it, but it's just, I feel like things make more sense when you change your perspective.
Yeah.
So now that I'm out here, things are making more sense to me.
Are you recording raps and everything?
Yeah.
Spin some bars and all?
Yeah.
Go out there and go spit some bars.
Yeah.
Go do it.
I saw some guy with a mic out on the strip. I was like, I want to grab that and start rapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Start doing it. It's all in all, what I see in you is like you're a creator. You're an artist. Ever since you've been interviewing people. Yeah. That right there is an art.
Yeah.
The way you're able to ask questions and get something out of somebody, like a response. When you ask a question, you're getting an answer from them. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you're controlling the narrative with the question.
Right.
I heard Larry King on WTF a long time ago.
That was a good one. I heard that too.
You heard that one too?
I remember bits and pieces, yeah.
I learned so much from that one because he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest interviewer. Like, he's just great.
Insane.
And what he told Mark Maron is that you could control a conversation with questions.
Yes.
And a lot of people just want to talk and just do their spiel, but if they jump in and ask a question, they could really take a hold of that conversation.
Yeah, switch things up.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love Larry King, man.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're an interviewer, I got the chance to. Well, when I interviewed Adam Carolla, I asked him this one question, and he was like, "That's a good question." And that night, he interviewed Larry King, and he was like, "I did an interview with some kid today, and he asked me this, and I wanted to ask you."
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Larry King's answering my question." Like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
It's like a guy like that, and even Oprah, I fucking paved the way for even a podcast.
Yeah.
She was like one of the first men on the street interviews going into the audience. So what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Tough topics. Yeah. It's the original, man.
Yeah.
So it's big respect for that.
Dude, when Oprah interviewed Michael Jackson.
Yeah, crazy. See, that's what type of stuff I want to do. Like, I want it to be like nationwide on TV, like 6 p.m. The interview. Yeah. With such and such. Yeah. It's like.
And then she backstabbed him and interviewed the accusers.
Yeah, seriously. We'll go make a documentary.
How do you feel, Drew? Like your son interviewing all these big people, and what was the first time you found out about that? Did he go up to you and ask you?
Yeah, he came up to me. What year? Like 13?
Yeah, I was like 10, 11.
I want to start a podcast. I'm like,
what?
What's a podcast?
Yeah. My mom too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had an old MacBook and Bill. That's all he had, and I think like you said,
just right in the built-in mic.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all he had, and he made it work. We didn't stand in his way.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of weird to think about because it's been like 10 years, so it almost feels like all I know in a weird way. Like I just wake up, I check my email, I send out requests, and I work on them. That's all I've been doing for like 10 years. Yeah. So it's like it's just ingrained at this point, and I love it.
So you were 13?
Well, I was like, honestly, I was like 10.
10?
But when it really got serious was when I was 13.
Yeah.
And then like Kiss reached out to me and shit. Like that's when that started happening.
Wow.
So
what was the first time you decided it popped in your head, I want to interview people?
It was when I first heard Carolla. And I first heard Rogan. The first episode of Rogan I heard was with Carolla. It was episode 101. That's how far back I go.
Oh, wow.
So I heard that, and I was, first of all, blown away by the language. I'd never heard anyone speak like that and so vulgar. But I was like, this is interesting. And then I was a Kiss fan, so I started listening to a Kiss podcast. Because I was reading a book about Kiss fan magazines. Yeah. I got that book because I was such a nerd, right? And then it talked about how people would make their magazine talk about Kiss so much that they get the recognition and finally meet the band and interview the band. And I was like, I want to do that. So then I discovered a podcast at the same time and said, I'm not going to do a magazine. I'll just talk.
Yeah.
So that's how it was like a perfect storm of Corolla and Joe Rogan and Kiss.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just made sense.
And who was the first person? Was it Kiss first that you interviewed? Somebody from Kiss, or?
No, it actually took me about 4 or 5 years to interview a member of Kiss. The first person I ever interviewed was I was reaching so hard. The guy who did the artwork for the Kiss Monopoly box. I started so small.
Yeah, yeah.
And choppy connection. We cut in and out, but he just said, "Figure it out and call me back."
Yeah.
I was friggin' 11.
Uh-huh.
I was just... So, yeah, and then...
So you were 11 at that time.
Yeah, and then after a while with the Kiss stuff, because it was just a Kiss podcast,
yeah,
I got tired of it.
Yeah.
So I started a second show. That was when That Reporter Kid started. And I was young and dumber. And I hit up Joey Diaz, and he came on the first episode of that show.
On the very first one?
The very first episode, because I had done the Kiss shit, gotten a bit of a name. Joey saw it, and he saw one of my little YouTube videos. You remember the Cinnamon Challenge?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I got introduced to Joey.
Oh, wow.
I tweeted it to him.
Yeah.
And he retweeted it. He must have been high. He was like, "This is fucking hilarious." And yeah, I reached out, and then the next day I got a tweet from Red Band. He's like, "When am I coming on your show? Not fair."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then all the Death Squad guys started coming in, and
you had Red Band as well?
yeah, I had Red Band, Ari, Sam Tripoli, Eddie Bravo, you name it, man. Steve Simone. I mean, yeah. And then when I started working at the Comedy Club in Edmonton, they worked out a deal to give. It was actually in the contract for the headliners. You're going to come, you're going to stay at this hotel, you're going to do the Cassius Morris show, you're going to do your set. So I do an interview with all the headliners.
Wow.
Tom Rhodes, you name it. So I learned so much, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know of many people who don't do comedy that learn so much about it, but I love learning about it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like,
wow.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting road. I love it, man.
Some of them have been, a lot of them have been over the phone, right? But
yep, phone, Skype, in person.
In person, like you had Ari in person, right?
Yep, and on Skype.
And
the first time was on Skype. I was like 12, and then he came to the Comedy Club. I did sound for his shows, and I asked him to do the show. He did it.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I got to meet Doug Stanhope down there. I think I worked sound for his show. Bobby Lee I met. TJ Miller. I mean, it's a great club. Like, they bring in a lot of names. You know, so it's
we should have started with me asking him questions, because this is so much more interesting.
No, man, come on.
Like, for listeners, you have to wait until an hour into it.
Hey, man, I was fascinated with what you were telling me, though, because it's a new perspective. And I think, at least I know that you do more of the lighter conversational stuff. This is a little newer for my listeners, and this is something I'm trying to inch into. Mm-hmm. So I think they like it, like the man on the street stuff and all that. I'm going to do some here, I think, because I got a little ass cord, so I can just put the Zoom in my pocket, just walk around with a mic. Yeah. So I was thinking of just walking around interviewing some people here, because I did it in Edmonton.
Yeah, dude. A good spot to hang out is by, I would say, like Harris. I mean, anywhere really, but you could just go up to some people. I mean, there's always people walking around. Yeah. I've always wanted to do that. Yeah. Go out, just interview people about just random stuff that's going on or something like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people that do it, they do it with an agenda. Yeah. You know, you'll see a right-wing guy go to a left-wing gathering, and he's trying to disprove everything they say. Oh, yeah, yeah. You see shit like that, and it's just like, I'm not interested in that. So I want to give the experience just of the street. Yeah. You know, so I was thinking maybe Fremont Street even. Yeah. Something like that. I loved it down there, man. Holy shit.
Yeah. Did you go to
crazy down there?
So you went to the casino area. Did you get to see like the bar scene right after that?
Yeah, we left the enclosed part. Okay. And we walked around a bit. Good. We saw the biker bar. Yeah. All that stuff. Cool. Yeah.
All that area is pretty nice. Gold Spike. If you go back, check out Gold Spike. Okay. It's like they have giant Jenga, giant beer pong with trash cans. Oh wow. They got all these cool like games. They got Foursquare. I don't know if you ever played that. Tetherball.
Heard of it. Heard it's Foursquare.
Yeah, they got all that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And kind of wrap up, one of the biggest ones that I thought it was huge was when you interviewed, I think you interviewed Joe Rogan on Adam Carolla's show.
Yes.
So Adam had you call in.
Yeah, and interview Joe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, when you talk about coming full circle, when in the many ways you have, like with Joey meeting your heroes, that was that moment for me, because that, like I said, the first thing I heard was Joey and Adam, and then here I am with Joe and Adam.
Yeah.
And it was just I was physically sweating, like I was petrified for that.
Yeah.
Like I've never been more nervous in my life.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I can never thank Adam enough. I got the chance to thank him recently when I interviewed him. I told him you were one of the first people to give me a chance in this business, and I will promise to make you proud.
Yeah.
And he, so
oh wow,
I got genuine love for that guy, man. He didn't have to take my original call.
Yeah.
So it's
cool.
Big respect. I love that. Shout out Corolla Digital,
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Honestly, man.
Yeah, man. Well, that's pretty cool, man. And you've had then extensions, like I would say, like me or Miss Cleo.
Yeah.
From the church and all that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Now I met Willie the other night. We've had a couple people, man. Yuck Nasty. Did a podcast with him. I love the church fam, dude.
Yeah.
No better group of people. I love the secret group. I don't know if, it's not a secret anymore.
the Facebook?
Yeah.
The Jesus. Facebook group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 900 people, but they're the best people.
Oh, yeah, that group.
Yeah.
Because there's several groups.
Yeah.
That group is like the main group because that's where Joey jumps in and talks and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the secret group.
Yeah. But it's like 900 people.
Yeah.
But they're badass.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like...
No, I don't promote a lot of, like, I don't like to spam groups but once we release this, I'll definitely put it on there because it's church related,
Absolutely, man.
So yeah, and they're really cool, man. They made me an admin on that group.
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm just like the worst admin because I don't really go in there and control stuff, but they have a lot of them. They have like 20 admins, but it was just so cool that they even made me one.
Yeah.
So,
and it's cool that everybody interacts. Joey jumps in there. It's
beautiful,
man.
Yeah, that guitar guy, Sinkirin.
Okay, I've seen that name. Like that. I didn't know.
He's been on Joey's podcast a lot.
Okay.
He gets on there. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's really cool. But yeah, man. So what's next for Cassius now? You came to Vegas for a week.
Yeah.
Going back all inspired.
Yeah. What's next is making some goddamn money and getting to LA.
Yeah.
And doing LA.
Yeah.
That's what's next. And then come back here.
Yeah.
I really like the people I've met here. I have some friends, some connections.
Yeah, dude.
I just love it.
Lizzie and I are always here to help out. So.
Yeah, it's great to actually meet you guys face to face. What's next for Freddie? Thanks for the invite?
Oh, well,
poppin'?
Thanks for the invite. We're just about to release episode 200 with Lee Syatt.
Hey. Oh, wow. Congrats, man. I think he was on my 100th episode.
Mine too.
Funny. Oh, no way. That's so cool.
He was on my 100th episode.
I guess that's his gig, the 100 episode man.
Yeah, he is.
That's awesome.
And I think he was on the Cobra Cast 100 episode. I don't know if you know Bobby.
I do. Bobby Sharon.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. I stayed with him in Austin recently.
Oh, nice. That's where he's at.
Went to visit, and he's a great dude, man. But yeah, so Lee Syatt is on my 100 episode with my co-host Ian Burford and my buddy Sammy. We talk about our experience at Skankfest this year and all that. So
that's so cool, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But that's what's next, pretty much as far as that goes. The podcast studio is almost done at my house.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I'm doing a lot of remote. I want to, I'm very inspired by you a lot. Like
thanks,
I told Lizzie a while back when I saw you doing remote interviews, it lit something in my head. I'm like,
oh, thanks.
I need to start doing this. We have the technology. It's just a matter of getting off our asses and doing it.
Well, yeah, exactly, man. And likewise with the comedy and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
so that's something that, like, when I think about all the people I know in comedy, I could have all these great names jump on the podcast, even if it's just a 10-20-minute interview.
Yes.
Their name's going to be on Thanks for the Invite.
Yeah. That's the thing. People get too carried away because Joe Rogan does 3 hours. So everybody wants to do 3 hours. It has nothing to do with 3 hours. It has to do with the content.
Exactly.
So it's like, that's the way to do it. So where can people find it? Should we do our plugs?
Yeah, let's do the plugs.
Okay, man. Go ahead, please.
All right. FreddyCorrea.com. And you could find all my social media on there. Instagram, all that stuff. And if you're in Vegas anybody listening that, even if it's a year from now, if we're still here, you know, hit me up. You want to go to LA Comedy Club? That's my home club, so I could, you know, it's on me. I'll comp whoever wants to go watch a free show. I don't get points for it. I just want people to have a good time and enjoy themselves. So
nice.
LA Comedy Club, I'm always there performing. Tuesdays is my regular night unless something changes. But as far as that goes, I mean, follow me on social media to see upcoming shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like I'm on tour or anything. I have a day job.
That's all right, man. At least you got a website, which I'm lacking. My website's down right now, but I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Cassius Morris, Cassius Morris _ and Facebook.com/Cassius Show. This is the Facebook page for the podcast.
There you go.
And this has been incredible, man. This is so much fun. It's been a long time since I've done a Swapcast. So this was really fun, man.
Same here, dude. I did one with Bobby Sharon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a long time ago, too, though. But, yeah, I'm excited. We bought a house last year, so it was hard to jump on the podcast.
Oh, well, congrats.
I would set up on the kitchen table and then tear it down, and I'm like, no, I need to have a podcast room. So
yeah. So now it's coming.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah. So.
Well, I can't wait to see the finished product.
Thank you, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
It's great meeting your dad too, Drew.
Absolutely, man.
Great to meet you, brother.
I love it. We got to get a photo.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do a photo. We should ask that. No, not that guy. Cassius, where could people find you?
Instagram.
You just said it, and I just fucking asked.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. All social media.
All social media. Cassius.
And we can continue to pretend to talk while he takes a candid photo.
Oh yeah, huh?
There we go.
Take some, baby. But so what should we pretend we're talking about?
I think I could actually talk about how damn good that food was.
That food was really good.
Really good.
That food was really good.
I gotta come back and get that platter.
Yeah. Your dad did mention you'll be sorry later, something about the beans.
Yeah. I caught that.
You caught that? I caught that too. I was like, so you gotta better be careful with the bombs that are gonna go on tonight.
I got it. I'm just gonna have to walk around the lobby for a little while.
Right on, man. Well, cool. Thank you, bro.
All right, thanks, man.
Anything else?
I think that's it for me, brother.
Damn. Hour
right.
27. Here we go.
Much love, guys.
We out.
And there you have it. My exclusive Swapcast with Freddy Correa from Thanks for the Invite. Shout out to Freddie and his girl for meeting up with me. It's an absolute pleasure to hang out with you guys. And shout out to all the Thanks for the Invite listeners. Thanks for the invite. Truly. I appreciate it. Big things coming up. A couple big announcements coming down the pipe. So make sure to follow me on my social media at Cassius Morris on Twitter. Facebook.com/Cassius Show. Instagram at Cassius Morris _. And of course, make sure you're subscribed on the audio platforms you're listening to now. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, wherever you listen. Subscribe to the Cassius Morris Show, as well as on youtube.com/Cassius Morris. So thanks so much for listening. Until next time, this is Cassius Morris saying, rock on.